Simplify. Keep your needs and wants simple and enjoy what you have. Live in the present, enjoy the present. Be not simply good, but good for something. These are the principles by which Hamilton Mack Laing lived and documented his life in Comox from pioneer days to the 1980s. Mack was the Bird Man of Comox. In the summer of 1922, Canadian naturalist Hamilton Mack Laing, then 39, set up camp on the shores of Comox Bay. He collected specimens of birds and wildlife to send to the Natural Museum in Ottawa. Laing realized Comox Valley was an important bird area of global significance and chose to live here in this unique area.
He lived this whole lifetime from pioneer to our time. It was quite interesting how he kept himself quite pure. He was a pioneer at heart and he stayed there. He didn't get power and he didn't have a hot water tank, and he just refused to have these things.
Alice Bullen, former Comox town councillor, remembers Mack Laing's simple lifestyle and very bright mind.
But he was remarkable. I mean, he was a prolific writer, a painter, and extremely knowledgeable about birds, and wrote about birds, and made a great contribution in shooting birds and sending them to the museum.
Always observing the birds, Laing noted in his daily diary 2 bald eagles, one adult, the other juvenile, circling over the bay when we arrived in Comox. He bought the land on the bay, built a house called Baybrook, planted the Baybrook nut orchard, and married Ethel, whom he called a dear, a darling, and a dead shot. And together they lived happy, simple pioneer lives. Both loved nature and hunting.
And now to be able to find a character that came to the valley while a lot of the original pioneers were still alive here, and interact with them, and then to live through until modern times, because there's many people who live in the valley today who know Mack Laing or knew Mack Laing very well.
Local author Betty Brooks remembers Laing as a teacher who influenced her and many other young naturalists who visited him to simply talk birds. In her book, Pioneer Bird Man of Comox, she recalls, Hamilton was a familiar character in Comox, often seen with his green visor and khaki bag, jog-trotting to the post office. Mack Laing died in 1983 at age 99, and coincidentally, young author Richard Mackey took up residence in Laing's then Shakeside home and was inspired to write his first book, Hamilton Mack Laing, Hunter Naturalist. Richard Mackey considers Laing's greatest legacy was to have the foresight to will the property to the town of Comox as a park, the Mack Laing Park, as a nature reserve and a natural history museum.
I hope somebody has enough wisdom to designate that as a heritage property, because we don't seem to have very much in Comox that is of distinguished heritage,
Find out more about the Bird Man of Comox. Visit the Mack Laing exhibit, now showing in the Comox Archives and Museum. Walk through the Mack Laing Park, stroll down Brooklyn Stream to the house, and watch the birds in the bay, and simply experience Hamilton Mack Laing's legacy to the town of Comox. We must treasure. In the Comox Valley, I'm Kate Brown.